Hey everybody, it's Emily
I'm Clark,
on Sailing Vessel Temptress.
and this is our January 2019 adventure log.
There's a little cave here. Why don't we shoot here?
Yeah, let's do it here.
We are currently in Georgetown in Exuma in the Bahamas, where we will be for the next few months. The weather here has been off and on. We've had days where the water has been glassy and it's been nice and warm, and then we've had really cold days where it's blown 30 knots and we've had to drink hot cocoa.
Yeah, we even dragged anchor again, as you saw in the video.
We'll talk about more of that later.
Yep.
General updates following last month.
We had some friends arrive finally, we've been talking about, and they brought some varnish so Emily could do some projects, and they brought the wind generator blades. So that's pretty cool.
We still don't have any shark footage for you, but I did spot a 6-foot spinner shark about 5 feet from our boat one day when I was coming up. That was pretty exciting. It spun around right in front of our boat. And there was another day that we had this big bait ball. All these fish were swimming right past our boat and they were just splashing all around the boat. So there's definitely a predator in our bay. We don't know if it's just the spinner shark or if there's more than that. But
Yeah, they did not want to be in the water that day.
in other news, Georgetown is getting quite busy in preparation for regatta, which happens in February.
There's like 200 boats here now. We'll probably get another 50 or 100. We've even got boats in our bay. We usually get a few during a storm, but there's like 4 or 5 permanent boats in our bay right now. And we're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's why we don't tell people where we are. Then it fills up. It's busy. In other news, in December we talked a little bit about work-life balance and how that affects cruising. My last contract ends June 30th, and I've decided that by that time I'm going to empower all my clients to help themselves or to refer them to who are now the subcontractors at my company so that they have somebody else who can do the work for them. So I will be free and full-time cruising by July 1st. And we can provision the boat and fix up the boat and get ready to go places further south and be a little more improvisational in our sailing style.
Yep, free us to travel beyond the Bahamas. Adventures to come.
Yes.
Oh, let's talk about the budget, how we're going to pay for these adventures. I said in that other video, you know, when you spend less than you make, you're rich. Well, we spent yet again less than we budgeted for, so this month we're rich.
Yep, we always try to spend less than $1,000 when we're out here actively sailing, and this month we spent $714, and $322 of that was food. Another major expense, it's a one-time expense, is my hair. I got my hair all braided all at once. Last time we came down, we braided it together, one braid at a time as we were working our way down through fronts and weather, and we would get stuck places, and it was kind of like a boredom buster for us. But having flown in this year, it was nice to just go to a salon, have it done once, and then we can just maintain it for however many months we're here. So that was a little bit bigger expense, but just one time. We also had our internet expense. We had a little bit of fuel. We ate out at some restaurants, a little more than we normally do. That was about $75. And just some miscellaneous things, some tools for projects, and some postcards and postage. Look for your postcards in the mail, a couple of you. And yeah, but our average now over the past few months is $672 a month, which is pretty darn good for our basic living expenses, I think.
Well, we'll use that money to get the boat ready for Panama.
Definitely, definitely. So projects, we've always got projects going on. We live on a 50-year-old boat, so there's always something to do. What were our projects this month?
Well, we got those wind generator blades, so I've modified them to fit the generator and got them all balanced up, so we're making like loads of power now. We were having some power issues with it being winter and cloudy and everything, relying on solar panels. Well, now we can leave the computer running 24 hours a day if we want to. We can just luxuriate in the power, and the batteries are still fully charged by 11 o'clock.
We are rich with renewable energy.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
In fact, one day Clark went out to check on the wind generator because it wasn't spinning. There was something wrong with it because there was plenty of wind. And after we looked at it for a while, we determined, oh, it's not spinning because our batteries are fully charged and we don't need it to spin. That was a pretty good feeling.
It's been, well, months and months and months since I've used it. And I forgot that I designed it so that when the batteries are fully charged, the wind generator's power goes back to the wind generator and breaks it. So it's doing exactly what it was supposed to do. It just surprised.
And the housetop, we started the housetop last time we talked to you. I've scraped it and sanded it and painted it with the color that we didn't intend to paint it, because we bought some oopsie paint at Home Depot. We got a really good sale, you know, in the shelf of colors and things.
Just the right kind of paint. It said beige. It would have been perfect.
We thought it was beige, and we opened it up, and it was ugly army
It's
green
the color of a World War II army tank.
Yeah, so it's this grayish, brownish, but we're going to paint over it when we get more paint.
So it's preserved the surface. It has the non-skid in it. It's all perfect. And then we've got another kind of paint we'll put over top of it. So the color will be just in the top layer. It'll be fine.
And after I finished that, since our friends came and brought us a gallon of polyurethane, I scraped and scraped and scraped all around the housetop, or the house sides, I guess.
Yeah.
You call it sides.
The house.
Scraped the house and sanded the house and scraped the house some more. And I just put on the first coat of varnish, our polyurethane, a couple days ago, and there will be a couple more coats in January, and then it'll be pretty like the other part of the boat.
I got all practical. I used to varnish it. Temptress used to be a 50-foot long piece of furniture, and I got lazy and switched to Cetal, which is a fine product. It's a whole lot less work. Well, Emily wanted it perfect, and she wanted to do it. So it's Emily's lawn. It's like she's mowing the lawn now. She has to keep the varnish up. It looks great. It really does. It makes a difference.
Yeah. And while I was doing that, you were taking care of the
Well, I
engine.
took advantage of one day. Emily was off doing something, and I ripped the boat apart and realigned the engine. The engine had been just a little bit tweaked. You have to have the engine aligned perfectly with the propeller shaft or bad things happen. So we should be smoother now when we motor. Not that we motor that much.
And speaking of motoring, we got stranded in a dinghy, not our dinghy, but earlier this month we did a video on it. We had a friend that was selling a dinghy to someone on shore. We offered to take it in for them, and of course it was stripped because it was going to be sold, so it had no oars or whistles or anything in it, and the motor stopped working. So that was fun. The theme of this month was safety, because we got to kind of a refresher that we always need to have our safety equipment, even when we're only going a mile. And we also dragged anchor, so we got some time to talk through what our emergency procedures are for that too.
Yep.
So yeah. And then Clark's been helping other people with their projects. There were a couple refrigeration issues that he helped some people with. He fixed somebody's blender. Somebody bought a new blender and has been making popsicles with them, and it broke, so Clark fixed it.
He was very excited about his alcoholic popsicles.
Yes.
And he came by, and one of those Ninja or whatever massive blenders, you know, it failed. The electronics had failed. And he brought it over, and it's kind of been the theme of fixing things. Well, you don't need this part. I took the electronics out, and it's just a regular induction motor, so hooked it right up. Now it's got 2 speeds, plugged in and unplugged. Anyway, he's making
But he's happy.
Yep, and we're on his route now, so every time he comes up with a new flavor, we're a taste tester.
Yes. And we just sort of rescued somebody in town the other day who had a fuel issue with their dinghy motor. So we've been making lots of friends by
fixed
doing
2 refrigeration systems, which makes people very happy, because imagine not having a refrigerator. You know, it's kind of hard to live without one when you get dependent on one.
Yep.
Let's see. Well, what activities have we done this month?
We've been doing a lot of things this month, starting with New Year's Eve. We had a bonfire on the beach with a bunch of other cruisers and had kind of a little ceremony where we took sticks in our hands and took all their negative energy and burnt it up in the fire. And then we filled our glasses and toasted with good things and happiness to the new year. And we had music and some dancing and some food, and it was a good time. It was a great way to start 2019.
Okay.
And then you and I woke up with the sun together on New Year's Day. So that was fun.
We've been doing an open mic night at St. Francis Resort. Emily sings and plays ukulele, and I play guitar accompanying her. And that's been well received and a lot of fun.
Yep.
Let's see, we've been doing trivia there as well. We've been doing quite an elaborate trivia with music and all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of fun. People are liking it, and if you'd like to hear it and see it, if 2 people comment that they're interested, we'll record it, and it'll be like watching Jeopardy.
What else have we been doing? We're gearing up for regatta. Regatta starts in the middle of February. It's like summer camp for grown-ups. It's the cruiser community gets together, and there's different activities every day. And it just kind of, there's a lot of things that involve the locals and the cruisers. Like I joined the softball team, so we're going to have a game between the locals and the cruisers. And it raises money for the regatta every year and for the local community. So lots of things going on with the regatta. And I've also been teaching a lot of ukulele lessons to beginning adults and kids. And we're putting together a little group for the regatta variety show, so that'll be fun.
That'll be cute.
And I learned a new recipe this month.
So we got up in the morning one morning and found a dead squid on the deck of the boat.
And we were going to offer it to somebody to use as fishing bait. And then our friend Steve came by with his alcoholic popsicles. And he said, you should eat it. It's perfectly good. It's, it's fresh. And so I did some looking on YouTube about how to clean a squid and fried it up and had calamari for lunch.
Yep.
And Clark even tried a little bit.
I even tried it. It was fine.
It was fine. It was really good. Fresh squid. So that's what's been up for activities. Worst things to happen this month.
Well, we did videos on it, but getting stranded in the dinghy kind of sucked.
Yeah.
When the anchor dragged, that really upset the night. But it all turned out well. It was actually kind of good because with the dinghy stranding, we help a lot of people around here. We usually don't need help. We're pretty much together people. But that night we needed help, and people came out of the woodwork to help us and towed us back to our boat. It was nice to feel part of a community and feel supported like that.
Yeah, and we speaking of help, we've been offered a lot. We were having some issues with the outboard as well.
Oh yeah.
And Clark posted a video on YouTube and asked if anybody had ideas, and so many people chimed in with help from the YouTube community.
Overwhelmingly, you guys thought it was fuel. I thought it was electrical. And I usually know what these are, but I just thought that one was electrical. Well, because you all said it was fuel, I went to fuel first, had it fixed in 10 minutes. You saved me half a day, probably.
Yeah. So
Thanks.
Definitely thanks for the help. Speaking of help and questions and things, we've been getting a lot of comments with additional questions about our life and early retirement and all those sorts of things. If you have questions, please ask them, because I think maybe this month we'll do a question and answer type video.
Yeah. We probably lead a slightly different life than you're used to. I'm sure there's a question or two.
Yep. But there was more to the worst this month. There was something that was really bad. We lost one of our friends this month.
Yeah, our really good friend Kelly, he's a local musician, lives on the island more or less full time, He died in his sleep. Don't really know what happened, but we kind of suspect he knew something was going bad with his health. But anyway, he died, and it was really sad. We've had a lot of community events, and 'cause a lot of people really loved Kelly. So all the musicians, we got together and did something at a local restaurant, so cruisers and locals could come. And then we did another one at St. Francis. And then we just had like his official wake for friends on our normal music night, because Kelly lived for music. So Kelly really would appreciate us having a musical send-off. We had his ashes there, and it was a sad night, but it was a good night too.
Yeah. And I was really surprised looking back through our footage that we didn't have more video of Kelly, or audio of Kelly. And I think we're going to capture some more music.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Some people like the music we did on the boat there, or the Eagle song last summer, or last fall, I guess it would be. So Emily wants to call it, what is it? The Temptress Sessions?
Temptress Sessions. Yeah, maybe we'll do some more recording on our boat. I think that would be a fun thing to do. And they're easier videos to make.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the worst. I think that's all the worst, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's get on to the best.
The best. Swimming with dolphins was pretty amazing this month. It was an early morning, and we were getting ready to shoot a video up on deck, and there was just this pod of dolphins with young dolphins and old dolphins. It was like a whole family that came into our bay, and I thought about it, and I said, I'm jumping in, because if I don't, I'm going to regret it forever. And it was really cold. But I'm glad I jumped in and did it. It was really exciting. I couldn't see with my mask. It was too cloudy, so I was just kind of floating on the top of the water, and they kept coming up and sort of swimming around me. And I almost had an asthma attack. I was so excited. And it was just like they were right there, a whole bunch of them just, going right past me, swimming past me. And it was really good. That was awesome. So that was definitely a highlight of the month. But there were other good things too. Clark had a very successful video this month that he put out. He's been working on that one for months and months, and we finally produced and put it out there.
Well, I'm sure you've all seen it because, well, we normally put a video out, and like in the first couple weeks we'll get 300-400 views, and some of them top out at like 900. We're a very small channel. This one's been out for 2 weeks. It has 30,000 views. It's still going strong. We have so many more subscribers, so I'm sure a lot of you that are watching this video, this is the first time you've seen us. Thanks for joining. I hope you like the sailing part of it too. I'll do another one along those lines, probably about like investment strategy or something. I don't really consider myself an expert or a professional at it, but I did come up with a system, and it made me survive 2 recessions, so I can't be all wrong.
There have been a lot of comments on that video, and some of those comments are like, question.
Yeah.
Too much to even reply to all the questions. And again, like if you guys have questions, we'll do a question and answer video, I think, next month, and try to give them all due attention.
Yeah.
So
put them down in the comments for the sailing lifestyle thing. And if you have questions about the other video, put it in the other video.
Yeah.
I've got a question area there.
Yeah, maybe 2 videos.
Yeah.
So many questions. But yeah, that video on intentional living is something that we also want to talk about every month. And what you talked about in that video really kind of sums up why and how you made those choices that allowed you to live this sort of sailing life. And I think that's really interesting to people. And we sail. I mean, that's our thing right now. But I did tiny houses before, and we've talked about kind of off-grid or really low energy living after this. So wherever we go, if we're on land or on a boat or in a tree house or wherever it is that we end up, we're going to still do this intentional living thing. That's our lifelong thing. Oh, there's a lizard.
Hey, that's our shark for the week. It's off camera.
Of course it is. We're going to get a close-up of it if we can. But anyway, yeah, this is kind of our life, and this is what we think kind of makes us us and makes us perfect for each other, is this desire to live intentionally and sustainably and outside the box a little bit. So
always look at something and say, are we doing this because we want to, or are we doing this because we're sheep and that's what everybody does? And we're kind of draconian about making sure that we're doing it because we want to.
Yeah.
And it's the right thing to do for everybody.
Yeah. And as long as you think it's interesting, we'll keep talking about it on YouTube.
Sure.
I guess it sort of relates to intentional living too. In preparation for going farther places south, I've been cleaning up the boat a little bit, just purging, do I really need all this clothing? Do we really need all these kitchen gadgets and things? And making our boat this much bigger and this much bigger, one little piece of stuff at a time. The local library here in Georgetown is raising money for a new roof, and they're having a yard sale in a couple weeks. So we'll be donating some stuff there. We might be giving away some stuff or trading some stuff with other cruisers, but just to make more space in the boat and make our life a little less complicated. So that's kind of what I'm doing on the intentional living
I think
front.
she should do a video on that.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing a video on how to organize the boat. The thing about minimalism, it's always appealed to me, this idea of minimalism, but it's kind of, in some ways, in direct opposition to this self-sufficiency. Because if you're going to be self-sufficient, you need to have a lot of stuff, a lot of supplies, a lot of food.
Well, we have like no knickknacks, but we have an incredible collection of tools.
And build pumps.
And spare parts, yeah.
And canned beans and everything. So, but we're always finding new ways to balance that. How do you have just what you need, but also spares? And how do you have so much stuff in a small space without having to sleep in a bunk with tools and things all over you? So that might be another video that we do on kind of organizing when you have a boatload of stuff, but you still want to be a minimalist. And I think that's it for this month. We're just at the thank you part.
Sure. thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate that. Those of you who chose to subscribe, thanks.
And thank you to our Patreons, those who support us with a few bucks every month on Patreon. We are fine financially. We're not by any means dependent on YouTube income or Patreon income, but it's sure a nice way to say, hey, we did a good job, because, you know, we live this life anyway, but shooting videos and reshooting videos sometimes. In December, we actually shot our monthly video 3 times before we got it right. We had camera issues and
we need a better camera.
Yeah, and for every minute of video that you watch, it takes us at least an hour between shooting and editing and color correction and all that other stuff that we're continuing to learn. So anyway, some people show their appreciation with likes or subscriptions. Some people show it by tossing us a few bucks every month, and then we can go out and have a beer or buy batteries for the audio recorder or whatever.
We do. I mean, we're pretty open. We live a pretty low budget life. So when someone gives us like $15, you know, we can use it to go out to dinner or put it in an account for a new camera or whatever. It is significant to us, but we're not starving.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you, but don't feel like we're begging for money. But thank you guys who do choose to say thank you in that way. We really appreciate you guys. And also, thanks to a bunch of other people, you know, thanks to YouTube, but also thanks to people here in Georgetown, because the projects we've been working on with the housetop and such, we've got a heat gun that we traded for from somebody last year. We've got some sandpaper from Botel One and from Bellamy, and we borrowed a generator from Lady K. If you watch other sailing channels, you might know.
We traded our little generator for their big one for a week, so we could use the heat gun.
And there was something else too. Oh yeah, the polyurethane we got from Live Adventure and our friends Marinus, who brought it down. So like we're just all interconnected and helping each other out all the time. So thank you to the Georgetown cruiser community, and thank you to the YouTube community for just being part of our adventure and making it all possible. We really appreciate you.
Goodbye. See you next month.